Hello viewers, welcome to this 25th episode in the series on script writing, where we are trying to teach you the skill of writing scripts for different genres of films like feature films, short fiction, documentaries, even news and current affairs, advertisements and so on. Now this particular episode has been designed on popular demand because there has been a lot of requests from students to analyze a script of a popular film which everybody has seen. So we thought that since PIKU, the Hindi film PIKU is such a big hit in recent times, this will be the right occasion to discuss the script of PIKU. And today I have with me in the studio two students. One is Sayantan Mukherjee, who is a semester 4, that is second year students pursuing this course in Bachelor of Media Science from ILEED College, and Chandril Roy Chaudhary, also second year student of Social Science at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So let us start with the discussion. I hope both of you have seen PIKU, otherwise there won't be any point to the discussion. So PIKU was released early in May, I think in the second Friday of May, if I am not mistaken, and it had a budget of 350 million rupees, and in the first 3 days after the release, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it grossed a total of 1.05 billion. So obviously that's a marker that it's a big hit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll gradually see, we'll try to analyze that what makes this film tick, that why is it a hit? Is it because of the stars? But then all films do have stars, or is it something else? Now to begin the discussion, as a warming up exercise you may say, I would like to ask you some questions. You have seen PIKU, right? Both of you have seen PIKU. Okay. So what is the film about? Chandril, you try to take a guess. What is the film about?
It has a lot of various concepts that come in. One is of course the main theme around which it is based is the health issue of an old man, which is constipation. But apart from that, it also protagonist PIKU's life. She doesn't have much of a social life.
Okay, so you are saying at one level it is about a particular health issue of an old man. At another level, it is about the choices that a young woman, that is his daughter, makes in life.
Yes.
Okay. Now, but out of all these things, what do you think is the film about?
The central idea, if I have to point
is it
out
constipation? Is it father-daughter relationship?
Father-daughter relationship would be my choice. It is so nice.
Okay. Do you agree that the central idea is the father-daughter relationship rather than the health issues of an old man?
I think the exaggeration of the health issues comes from the father-daughter relationship.
So then the film is about father-daughter relationship in today's time when the children are not turning their back to their old parents and that they are setting up their own homes, and here she, out of choice, she has decided to stay with her father, and at one point of time she even says that when our parents grow old, उनको जी के रखना पड़ता है.
You know my situation. You know वो मेरे ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है. सुनाई नहीं दे सकता ठीक से, आंखें कमजोर हैं. छोड़ दूं अकेले? अपने आप कैसे संभालेंगे?
छोड़ने को मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ. छोड़ा तो मैंने भी नहीं अपनी माँ को. I'm just saying. I hope you realize he's a selfish man.
No, he's not.
He is.
And even if he is, he's my father.
Father है तुम उनकी माँ क्यों बनी बैठी हो?
क्योंकि राना एक एज के बाद पेरेंट्स अपने आप जिंदा नहीं रह पाते. उनको जिंदा रखना पड़ता है. और वो जिम्मेदारी बच्चों का ही है.
Now we have these two main protagonists, father and daughter, Amitabh and Deepika, whose story is being told here. Is it Amitabh's story that is being told, or is it Deepika's story, PIKU's story that is being told?
According to me, I think if the name of the film is PIKU, then yes, it is Deepika's or PIKU's story being told.
Okay, so the name of the film itself gives it away that it is PIKU's story that is being told.
Absolutely.
Okay, that means the PIKU is the main protagonist here. Well, if PIKU is the main protagonist here, then what is her personal goal in life? Because we say that it is the goal of the main protagonist that drives the narrative forward. Okay, so what is PIKU's goal in life?
I think parts of the film actually looks at that. Thing is, she's been so caught up with her father. I don't think she's got time for herself to, you know, actually come up with a plan for her own life. I mean, I don't think she has a goal set as of yet.
Okay, fine. So that means she doesn't have the time to or the mind space to set a goal for herself.
Yeah.
She is not thinking seriously about settling down in life. Okay, she is definitely not thinking of moving out. Okay, and she is preoccupied with tackling, handling her father. Fine. So that is there. Now, is PIKU an active character or a passive character? You know, active character means a character that is goal driven, you know, who takes decisions in life, and it's the character's desire that takes the narrative forward. Okay, because in pursuance of his goal, his or her goal, there are obstacles and he has to clear the obstacles, and therefore that builds up the tension and so on. That's the conventional approach to writing a story. Whereas in a passive character means a character who is not goal driven, but who is drawn into the thick of things, who is drawn into action because of circumstances. Okay, so what kind of character is PIKU? Is PIKU an active character or passive character?
What exactly I think is that decision about going to Calcutta has been made by Amitabh Bachchan. He wants to go to Calcutta to make sure that he doesn't sell the house and many other things. The thing is that PIKU can decide to play along or not. I mean, she could always put him in a nursing home or an old age home, you know, so make sure the others are there to take care of her. And then she can focus on her job or whatever. So in a way, she's both active and passive that way.
Active or passive in the sense, what you mean is ki she is not deliberately proactive.
She lets her father take her for granted, but she has her, you know,
She
say in
has
things,
her
yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Fine. And what kind of character is Bhaskar Banerjee?
A very eccentric guy and a very selfish guy.
I think it also plays a little bit on the fact that he's lonely in some way. You know, his wife died, and I think he just wants to cling on to the one thing that he thinks is going to be there.
Okay, so he is lonely, he is eccentric, he definitely is selfish. There is a streak of selfishness, definitely. He always has his own way. He thinks that he decides he'll go to Calcutta by car, so he will go to Calcutta by car. So he always gets his own way. So these are some of the characteristics, and none of these are very likable characteristics. Okay, these characteristics don't make him a very likable old man. So that is the kind of character Bhaskar Banerjee is. And for a superstar like Amitabh Bachchan to play that character, I mean, that is something. So, and PIKU, what kind of character is PIKU? She, as you said, she is totally into handling her father, I mean, totally entangled in that situation. So she can't go beyond that, she can't look beyond that, and that has made her cranky, that has made her irritable also. Okay, so that way PIKU, of course, she is young, she is good looking, but otherwise she is what? She is a, what kind of a person is she?
She is nervous. She doesn't really like other girls of her age.
Why do you say that she doesn't like other girls of her age?
Like other girls of her age because other girls aren't really that much cranky because she is extremely cranky, like you said, because of her position in the family, because she has to devote her entire time for her father. So other girls don't really do that nowadays. So they are really absorbed in their own life.
So then what drives the narrative forward?
The things they do, they're so, I don't know, they're funny, really funny, and I think that kind of puts you inside the zone of the movie.
Aside from the humor, the viewer is trying to figure out and hoping to figure out by the end of the film is that what is going to happen to Deepika as a person. Her father is not going to stay forever, right?
Okay, so basically what you are trying to say is empathy with Deepika is maybe, that is the factor that is taking the narrative forward. Means the audience is always curious to see how Deepika's life shapes up. I mean, will she always be in this state of stalemate, or will she come out of it, or will there be a solution? So the audience sympathizes with her. That is definitely one important factor. Anything else that makes it engaging?
It makes it universal in its appeal to the audience, the way it is portrayed.
What? You mean that attention to details?
Attention to detail, the household things, the way they speak, the way they behave among themselves.
Okay.
That is the way we do.
I mean,
like he said.
it doesn't, it rings true. That's what you mean.
Absolutely true, yes. It doesn't really seem like a movie.
Okay, so these are the things that make the film engaging. So engaging that in the first 3 days it grossed 1.05 billion.
That is a big surprise because that was not expected.
Not expected.
That was not expected, no.
Okay. Now, what is the plot time of PIKU?
When that initial seed is planted about PIKU and her father being in the same place and PIKU looking after her father, and how that relationship is stretched throughout the film and how it comes to an end. So I think that would be the plot time.
Exactly.
And
so that is about how much? A few months, 1 year, or?
I think it would be about a month or two. The period where it all starts and then the journey.
The beginning of the film to the father dying and a little after that, it's about maybe a couple of months or so maximum. Okay, so that is the plot time. Fine. And what is the story time?
Well, there are a lot of aspects in that because then, you know, you have to take into consideration snippets of PIKU's past and which also of course include her father and her mother who was alive then. So how they bring her mother and how their marriage was all about her father and how she'd given up everything for her father and still. So I think it would span from PIKU's childhood to
this
now what is happening.
Okay, so you can say that roughly PIKU's childhood, when the whole family was in Calcutta, that is more or less the beginning of the story. Okay, till the father dies and then PIKU is now on her own. So those years, about 25 years or so, is the story time. Okay, so that's the difference between plot time and the story time. Now we say that in a film, which are character driven films, there are these character trajectories. Means when the film begins, you see the characters in a certain state, in a certain situation, but as the film progresses, the characters gain experience. Okay, they pass through certain situations, they grow wiser, and there is a character growth. So what are the character trajectories in this film?
I think the change comes when they go on a journey to Kolkata, and once reaching Kolkata, he remembers where he belongs, and his experiences and his childhood again comes back to him.
That means when he comes to Kolkata, suddenly his character opens up a little bit. He starts playing sitar. There is a brief scene where he's playing sitar.
He's playing sitar. He's going on a cycle ride. He's a changed person. He's a happy person.
He's on home ground, as we say. So there is this change in the character. Okay, so that is Amitabh Bachchan. What about PIKU?
So initially, they talk about selling the house, and I think in both these character trajectories, I think Irfan Khan, he has an important role to play because we see that at the end of the film, Irfan Khan tells Deepika Padukone about the roots of a certain place or a city or a culture, and he says about cutting off what will happen if the roots are cut off, and finally that Deepika says that we aren't going to sell the house. So that I think impacted Deepika, and also when Irfan Khan is leaving Calcutta, he tells Amitabh Bachchan that, you know,
ऐसे हरकतें करना बंद करे.
He says, so in a way, I think that he in a way, you know, changes the course of their path.
So he is more like a catalyst.
Yeah, and also,
but does he change himself?
I don't think so. I think he's always played the same, you know, soothing character, you know, understanding. And
so that is here Irfan basically is playing the role of the catalyst.
Yeah, I know.
And now my last question is that how has drama been created with these everyday details?
That first drama of the movie, if I recall correctly, was about the housemaid.
Okay.
Who came in the house just screaming her lungs out and saying, I will never work in this house again. And then Bhaskar Banerjee comes out, you leave right now, you owe 850 rupees, Didi is not home. And then PIKU comes out, they have a huge fight where PIKU is trying to subdue her father and this housemaid and telling her to work again. That was a huge fight. That was a good drama and that was a pretty humorous situation, I think.
Okay.
That one example you asked me to give. Amitabh Bachchan asked Irfan Khan to fix the pump in the house.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
how everybody starts
Huh.
saying
that ye bhi have pani nahi
yeah,
hai,
there's
that
that
ye nahi.
chaos in that
Huh.
conversation.
Huh.
I mean, that almost happens in every Bengali family. I guess.
तुम मटन कबाब बनाने वाली हो? झोल वगैरह तो वो भी नहीं
ना खिचड़ी डॉक्टर श्रीवास्तव हमको बोला सिर्फ खिचड़ी बाहर का खाना
दादा सुनिए खिचड़ी कैसे पकेगा? अरे चावल और दाल भिगोना पड़ेगा।
And what about the party scene where Bhaskar Banerjee tells that guy prospective
That was
group?
very awkward. That was very incredibly awkward. I mean, which father does that in a public place? Like, in front of her daughter, she had to leave on her own accord for that. And he comes back later at night, completely drunk and dances around in the house.
Yeah.
That kind of changed the situation, lightened up the mood a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was very awkward.
Yeah. Now we come to the structure of the film. 3-act structure, if we keep in mind the 3-act structure. Act 1 is Delhi. Okay. Act 2 is the journey. And Act 3 is Kolkata.
Yes.
Okay, very simple. Alright. Now in Act 1 what is happening? The main characters are being established. The tension between the characters is being established. Between all the characters there is tension. Between Irfan and Irfan's mother there is tension. Between PIKU and PIKU's father there is tension. In office, PIKU's office there is tension. Okay, so there is tension between all the characters. So the tension between the character is established. It is also, Act 1 is also meant for establishing the individual goals, but as you said, in this case individuals do not have this well set goals. Okay, so that isn't there, but there is an incident that catapults the action to the next act, which is the journey. Okay, now the Act 2 begins at 47 minutes. If you take a look at the film, then Act 2 begins, the journey begins at 47 minutes. So the first 47 minutes is Act 1 and that is teeming with characters. Because that marriage anniversary party and everything, that all happens in Act 1. So many characters have been introduced in Act 1. Okay, Act 1 is teeming with characters. Alright. Act 2 is much quieter comparatively. Much quieter.
It's a journey.
A journey.
Yeah.
So primarily these 3 characters. So less talking also. And there are these moments of introspection. There are these quieter sequences. Okay, so Act 2 in terms of mood is different from Act 1. Now, the relation between Irfan and Deepika, now is there anything which is, you can say that it's a turning point in the chemistry between Irfan and Deepika?
Absolutely.
Which is?
PIKU hated Irfan. PIKU
Yes.
hated Rana. She didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
Even when Rana came on his own accord to help them travel to Kolkata, even then PIKU was completely against it. But as they went along on the journey, she completely saw to it that she was not getting impressed by any of Rana's doings,
Yeah.
no matter what he tried, and she said continuously, don't try to impress me, don't try to impress me.
Yeah.
And Rana was like, he didn't really care. He was on his own way. But what really changed the relationship between the two was Rana's looking out for Bhaskar Banerjee. Him continuously telling him to do that, to do this, how to remove his constipation, to do the old world charms.
When I think the battery of his hearing aid was low.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
when Irfan Khan.
So that is one instance when Amitabh Bachchan, that is Bhaskar Banerjee, actually listened to somebody.
Exactly,
He
yeah.
didn't have his own way.
Yes.
Because
He gets
Irfan
stunned
simply
completely.
refused to go back. Yeah, that is definitely a turning point. No, there were other turning points also. That Chaku. They discovered
else,
that
yes.
Chaku in the dicky, okay, and Amitabh Bachchan, till you throw that away, I am
He was very adamant, yes. He was sitting there, Rana was standing there, no one was moving an inch,
Yeah,
and Rana had to throw it up because he's a very honest guy.
yeah.
So he had to.
Okay, so that is the scene. That is where the brilliance of the script is. The weaving in these little
So many
situations.
slight nuances, to make this film so much special.
Exactly. Okay. Now, then the Act 3 is Kolkata. Achha, incidentally, Act 1, Delhi as a city hasn't been shown so much really. Okay, whereas Kolkata as a city, much more, we see much more of Kolkata in this film than we
Yes.
see Delhi.
Yeah.
Okay, all the first 47 minutes are spent in Delhi. And certain elements of Act 1 have been repeated. Say, for example, cycle. This idea of cycle was mooted in Act 1.
Actually, yes.
Srivastava uncle said, देखो ये 99 years का बूढ़ा cycle चलाता
The
है
Japanese
रोज.
guy.
Then that early morning knock at the door, कि you know what's something wrong with your father. That
Yes, and
warning
she
was there in
runs.
Act 1.
Yes,
That
yes,
same thing happened in Act 3 also. And then of course that maid servant. Maid servant is chucked in Act 1 and maid servant. Maid servant
Yes.
kind of completed the narrative. So these are the three clear-cut acts. Now towards the end, there is a revelation that Jishu Sengupta, her partner in office, also has constipation.
Yes.
That Bhaskar always suspected that he has constipation, so PIKU goes and asks him. So what is the significance of this? Why that has been put? Is it to throw him out of the way so that
Yes.
Irfan and PIKU...
I think so, because of that reason only.
Because Srivastav said ki your father always suspected that he has constipation. Now why would Bhaskar Banerjee always suspect that he has
There is
constipation?
a term saying something, I don't remember exactly, birds of a feather flock together or something.
that-
He has constipation, right? So we might understand from his face, this guy is suffering from same thing.
No, also, I mean, there could be many things. I mean, for one thing, I mean, it could be one of his bizarre theories, you know, how he relates everything to his motion. So,
yeah.
Actually,
and also the point that, you know, PIKU is always sticking with him, you know. You know, it could be that PIKU's, you know, has this knack of finding people who have constipation. So, I mean, just subconsciously knowing that. I mean,
Acha.
it could always play on some humor like that, but
Okay, so but that is one interesting last minute twist. Huh?
was.
Acha. Then this film is by and large dialogue dependent, isn't it? All the information comes through dialogue. That reminds me that can you say that the subtext of this film is also this feminism,
Yes.
women, modern women.
It can be.
Huh?
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
it can be. Because what
that
struck
is
me, it was
another
absolutely
layer,
true.
another layer of
It
the
was
film.
layer, yes. And what he said was true. I kind of related to that.
Yeah.
If a woman is marrying into a family, she's giving herself completely to the husband and not doing anything of her own worth. And what he said about his own wife, even Bhaskar Banerjee, it was true. So it has a layer of feminism to it. I completely agree.
It is not played up, but there is
No.
that undercurrent.
Slight.
Undercurrent
thing
is
going on,
there.
yeah.
Okay, was there any scope for improvement? If you were to write the script, would you do certain things a little differently?
I mean, of course, there are ways to improve it, you know, make it a better story and a better plot.
No, why better story and the better plot in what sense?
It was a good plot in a way, but it didn't substantiate much. It didn't substantiate what it really wanted to say.
It didn't substantiate what it wanted to say, meaning?
You know, there was that portrayal of the father-daughter relationship, but I think it just got too caught up in the whole conflict between.
I mean, you feel it didn't probe deep enough.
Yeah, it didn't probe deep enough. I mean, like, where does Bhaskar come from? I mean, where is his thoughts coming from? I mean, everybody has some sort of baseline.
Backstory.
Yeah. And PIKU, I mean, how did her mother's death affect both of them? I mean, something like that. Their relationship, how did it grow deeper? Say.
Yeah, it didn't probe exactly.
Character development you're talking about. Achha,
Yeah. So, it did go back to the past, but it could have a little bit more. It could have probed. Yeah. Okay. And also what I felt that PIKU is an architect, you know, so we don't see her doing that, you know, professionally. Being an architect, we don't see her being an architect in the film at all.
Never.
Hardly.
We don't see her professional life anyways.
We don't see her professional life at all. So that also a little more could have gone into it. Okay, so these are some of the things that could have been improved. Maybe more, it could have been made stronger by probing a little deeper into the relationship. It could have been made stronger. But anyway,
but another thing, I mean, there's one positive thing about the film I liked. You see Deepika Padukone in other films, and you're like, you almost take to her. I mean, you're like, yes, she's doing a good job. You like her immediately. She's very likable. But here it's like, not only she's cut off from the characters within the film, but she's also, in a way, you know, shields herself from the audience as well. Like, I personally, I didn't really like her in the movie. I mean, in that way, she did a good job of, you know, portraying who she was in the film. Because I think that was meant to be shown because of how much time she dedicates to her father and the frustration that is building up within her. So you see her not so proactive as
But basically, she was not wooing the audience. She was not playing to the galleries. That's what you are trying
not
to say.
playing to the galleries as such. I mean, she did her part. She did a great job in that sense. But I'm saying that usually you would be very taken by her in most of her films. I mean, she's attractive, nice, and in that sense. And so, but here it's a very subtle role she's playing. You know, she's
Means the shades of grey have come out.
PIKU is like one of those movies which portray women differently than most of the other movies do. So PIKU, or if I can recall correctly, Kahani even, Queen, Highway, these kind of movies portray a woman really differently.
I wouldn't say differently, but what I hope I'm getting my point across is that she did her part like really well, in the sense that
that she succeeded in generating a kind of irritation in the audience towards her. That's what you mean.
No, not irritation, not irritation. But not irritation, but I would say, you know, not getting her to like her.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't irritated by her, but I was like, I would say, I mean, she's really caught up. She's really, in a way, she's messed up in a sense. You know, speaking.
Well, you have to hate a bad person if he is portraying a bad person. So
no, I don't hate her. That's the thing.
No,
It's not about hating or liking. It's just, you know, it's there, and you just
means you wouldn't like to be in PIKU's situation.
basically,
yeah, in a way. Yes.
That's what. Okay, so in that way, it's a different movie, and the Indian audience has
liked it apparently.
liked it. Okay, so that's good news. Okay, so I think that brings us to an end of this episode. And viewers, I'm sure you too have lots of comments which you can keep posting on the blog, and then we can continue with the discussion. Thank you.